Hello authors, and welcome back to Overhaul My vlog. My name is Meg Trast, Editor-in-Chief at Overhaul My Novel. So this is just a quick little bonus video. The patrons didn't vote for this one. I didn't even put it up for vote this week. I just wanted to talk about it because I have been working with some authors who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who have never published a book before, and they're really feeling the sort of pressure to get something done while they feel like they're still young enough. And while there are plenty of authors in their 30s who publish their first book, 20s and 30s, even though 20s is still actually fairly young, statistically speaking, to even publish a book, the 30s is a pretty common age range. So I want to talk about some authors who got their start a little bit later than that. Some fairly well-known authors that you may know about who were published at age 30 include Agatha Christie, George Orwell, Mark Twain. But there's some others who didn't get they either didn't get published or they didn't get their big start until much later in life, and those are the ones that I want to talk about today. So George Eliot, which is a pen name, most of you know, George Eliot did not publish her first book until age 40, and Maya Angelou was actually age 41. And the reason I believe Maya Angelou was published at age 41 is not because she didn't want to write, but because straight out of high school she actually got pregnant and had her first child and had to leave school to start working. And Maya Angelou was working as a dancer before she settled down and started her life as a writer. So that's another sort of sidebar there, that you don't have to have a more intellectual upbringing in order to come out on the other side as a very accomplished author and human rights activist. To boot, we all know Maya Angelou's pretty badass. J.R.R. Tolkien didn't publish The Hobbit until he was 45 years old, and then went on to write the Lord of the Rings trilogy after that. Bram Stoker was published in his 40s, but he didn't write Dracula until he was age 50. So that was his first sort of big hit. And then same thing with Richard Adams. Richard Adams wrote and published Watership Down at age 52, and Watership Down was an instant hit. So not only did he publish it at age 52, but it did well right off the bat. Laura Ingalls Wilder didn't publish her first book until she was 65. So the first Little House on the Prairie book came out when the author was 65 years old. So those of you who are getting more toward your 60s, those of you who are in your 40s, you have to understand that 40 is like a normal age to publish books. 40 is it's a good age to publish books. There are a lot of articles that talk about why it's good to be published in your 30s, and I wish more people would talk about why it was also good to be published in your 40s. You're still fairly young, especially compared to a lot of famous authors even now. When you look at authors like Neil Gaiman, who are suddenly hitting this huge peak of popularity and who are not that young at all. And even if you're in your 50s and your 60s, you can still write your very first book. You can still be Laura Ingalls Wilder and be putting your first book out there. And I don't know what the precedent is, but if you're in your 70s and if you're in your 80s, you can still write a book. There is nothing keeping you. There's no rules about how old you have to be. You can be 12 or 120. It does not matter. If you write a book that people like and people will read, you can be any age and you can publish for the first time and still do well. And I hate seeing people so discouraged over feeling like they're too old to get started, because I promise you you're not. And I promise you that it's a great time to publish a book. If you have a book inside of you right now that you want to write, but you're worried about being too old to do it, stop worrying about it and just write your book. And let me know if you want any help or if you want any pointers. You can always message me here, I think, or you can just go to my website, overhaulmynovel.com. Now, if you want to support my channel, you're more than welcome to do so by joining the Patreon family at patreon.com/overhaulmynovel. This isn't like a super official video, so I'm not going to do the whole like, comment, and subscribe thing. But feel free to join me here on YouTube. I would love to see you around. Follow me on Twitter, whatever it is that you feel compelled to do. But most importantly of all, sit down today and start working on your book and stop making up excuses for why now's not the right time. Because the right time to write a book is as soon as you feel like writing a book. Thanks for watching. My name is Meg Trast. I hope to see you soon.